Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm giving you a list of all the things I am not buying or spending any money on in the year 2024. All right, if you're new here, I'm Claire. Welcome. Come on in, make yourselves comfortable. I am a lady who loves a good budget. I guess I wouldn't consider myself to be a cheap person, but I would say I'm quite frugal. I will invest in things that will last me a long time. I like to be thoughtful about the way that I save and the way that I spend. And right now, you guys, the world is getting so expensive. We've had to make cuts in a lot of places, like I'm sure you have as well. And there are things that are really important to my family. We really love to travel. There are, things we gotta make money for. We gotta pay the mortgage. We gotta eat food. So I'm just implementing some of these things for my family this year. Maybe you're doing some of these things too, maybe just for a good challenge, maybe for environmental reasons, but also because you have to, because man, the world is expensive. So maybe I can inspire you to stick to some of your financial related goals for the year. And yeah, I have 10 things that the Risper family is not spending money on in 2024. And here they are. The first thing is new clothes. And by this, I mean brand new clothes. So we can go thrifting, and that's kind of like where I draw the line. Last year, I had the same rule, and it was like I didn't have any other rules. That was just like the one challenge I gave myself. And I actually found it quite enjoyable and easy to follow. I love thrifting. And I got some really great pieces last year. I broke the rules just a couple of times, but they did seem necessary at the moment. I didn't do any like Shein orders, or I didn't buy any clothes off Amazon. I didn't buy any clothing from Target the whole year. I didn't get any like hauls or anything like that. And that was really what my focus was last year. So this year, I'm pretty sure I can do it again. Obviously, if my kids need something specific, I'm not gonna make them go without because of this rule. So obviously, winter coats, snow pants, things like that. Like I'm not gonna be like, oh, if we can't find it at the thrift store, guess you don't get a coat. Like I'm not gonna do that. But I think that this will be attainable because it was really not that hard to do last year. So yeah, no brand new clothes this year, mainly for me, but I think I can do it for the family as well. Number 2 is haircuts. Now, if you are a professional hair person out there, nothing against you, because I myself work in the service industry. I'm a dog groomer, and I can tell you, people who groom their own dogs usually do a terrible job. Not everyone, but a lot of them, depending on the type of dog. However, I feel like my son's hair and my husband's hair, I've been doing their hair for years. My husband hasn't had a professional haircut in over a decade, and my kids have only had 2 in their lives. Because I'm a dog groomer, I have, like equipment, I have really sharp shears, and I know my way around a pair of clippers. I'm not saying that I'm as good as a human stylist, because I'm not, but for them, I'm doing good enough. It's good enough for me. For myself, I cut all my hair off into like a pixie last February. So I have like almost a year of growth on it now. And honestly, every once in a while I just flat iron it, and my husband just trims the back a little to even it up so that it doesn't turn into like a wild mullet. And I'm just gonna let her grow all year. We're not getting anything colored. And anytime I do need the ends trimmed, or even sometimes I'll have one of the girls at the salon, just, my grooming salon that I work at, they'll just do the little ends for me with the grooming shears, and that works just fine. I do think it's a worthy thing to spend your money on if you have it and if it's in your budget. Nothing against anyone who likes to spend money on things like that. Obviously, I'm a supporter of the people who do that kind of service. But for me this year, it's on the chopping block. Number 3, I think, is going to be a huge challenge for us, and that is restaurants. So, man, eating out is like one of the most expensive, like extra or like fun things that we do as a family. It is crazy how expensive going out to eat is now. It's like really rare that we can get all 4 of us, my 2 kids, my husband, and myself, out for under $100. So I thought this year we would challenge ourselves. We are gonna allow fast food. That's not in the restaurant umbrella because with the McDonald's app and stuff like that, I can get crazy good deals. If we just need like a quick lunch or something like that. I'm definitely, as a busy mom of 2 little boys, obviously we're not taking chicken nuggets off the menu. However, when it comes to just restaurants in general, that is so expensive. I would rather go to the grocery store and buy like a lobster tail and make it myself than spend $100 at a restaurant. I can spend that budget and get an incredible amount of really high quality ingredients and cook it myself. I'm confident in my culinary skills. I would just rather do that. I would rather buy a really nice steak at the store and just make it myself for a quarter of the price. So we're kind of shifting our mindset away from restaurants to maybe once in a while getting high quality ingredients and making a special dinner ourselves. We also have some gift cards that we got this year for Christmas. I've got one to like Texas Roadhouse, and I've got, well, Sam's Club had a deal where you could get $100 worth of Domino's gift cards for 75 bucks. So I got those. So there's our pizza. We can have, you know, several pizzas throughout the year, and those are covered. And then I also got some like local gift cards for date nights, just a couple. So we have a few date nights then throughout the year that are already paid for on those gift cards, and I'm not gonna do anything else. Number 4 is, I know this is kind of silly, it's not that big of a budget item, but still, I'm not buying any like wrapping paper, gift wrap, paper products, bows, ribbons, tags, none of that stuff. I like to buy my stuff on sale at the end of the season. And I find that if you scour the discount racks after Christmas, there are often a lot of like plain paper that isn't like too Christmassy that you can use for other times of year. I also always save all the tissue paper and bags that come like when someone gives me a gift. I always keep those things and I reuse them. And so I feel like my stash is huge. I don't need to buy any of that this year. I think we're good for birthdays. I think we're good for anything that pops up, anniversaries, whatever. We just put the thing in the same bag every single year. We're not spending a bunch of money on fancy wrapping this year. We're reusing what we have. All right, next, number 5. This one might be a little bit tricky, but I think it's a worthwhile one, and that is we are not buying anything in the home improvement category that costs over $100. So I'm a person that like loves a project. So this is gonna be hard for me, but sometimes I get these ideas and then they become very expensive projects. And you know, it might be like, oh, we gotta rent a saw and we gotta get this, and like it snowballs very quickly. So the reason I put a cap on it at $100 is because I do know that I will want to do some home improvement throughout the entire year. It's like, I'm really setting myself up for failure if I'm saying I'm not allowed to improve our home in any way for a whole year. But having that $100 limit means, okay, I can change the paint color. A can of paint, I can get that for under $100. I can get new doorknobs. I could get, you know, basic things like that. If I wanted to refinish my kitchen table, I could buy a pack of sandpaper and some new stain for under $100. There are definitely projects that I can do for less than that that will satisfy that need, but it's also taking the big things off the table. Like, we're not replacing any windows this year. We are not redoing our kitchen. We are not doing any of the big stuff. I desperately need new front doors, and that's gotta get put on the back burner for 2024. It's just not in the budget. We're not gonna meet our goals if we do that. So I kind of gave myself some limits on that one, and hopefully that'll work out for us. I think it will. My husband supports this one too, because sometimes we really feed off each other on the home improvement stuff. So there's some stuff we want to get done in the basement, but I know we can do it within that budget. Number 6, this one is kind of a confusing one. I wasn't even sure if I was gonna put it in here because it makes not that much sense. So I wrote chicken ? / lunch meat ? So if you follow me, I actually have raised meat chickens now. I did 2 like rounds of them last year. I live in the city, so I couldn't do like a bunch at a time. And I love doing it. The initial investment is done. We have a coop. We don't need to put any more money into like the care of them other than food, which is not very expensive. And buying the chicks themselves is also not that expensive compared to what you would pay like per pound of chicken at like a farmer's market, because they're like, you know, free range and all that stuff. Those chickens are so expensive at a farmer's market, and so we really have enjoyed putting our own meat in the freezer. So for the year 2024, we still have a lot of them in the freezer, and starting in the spring, we'll raise more. I don't see the need to buy any chicken at the store. The reason I also included lunch meat is because I bought my husband one of those little lunch meat like makers, like a meat press that you make lunch meat out of, and I think it would be easier to buy the chicken to make the lunch meat. So the chicken / lunch meat entry of this list is, I'm not buying chicken unless I'm buying chicken to make lunch meat, and I'm not buying lunch meat at all. Does that make sense? Next, number 7 is kind of my entertainment category. Now, we aren't huge spenders when it comes to entertainment. We've never actually had cable ever in our adult lives. We do have several streaming services, but we've already pared that down to the few that we really enjoy, and we don't feel the need to cut that in any way for 2024. However, the things we do spend money on are tabletop gaming, puzzles, and like books, hard copies of books. And this year we're not gonna spend money on any of that stuff. First of all, I have a library that's like a mile away from my house. It's a fantastic library, and there's no reason for me to need to purchase a new book. So I think like I will get more in the habit of putting things on a waiting list, like if it's a newer book and I can't get it right away, to just like be a little bit patient, read something else while I'm waiting for that to come like in stock or like be available. Also, I have a huge stack of books that I'm like behind on. Like I just gotta read what I have first. And that's kind of where we are with the tabletop gaming. My husband, this whole thing is right here is full of like tabletop games. He went to Gen Con in Indianapolis this past year and got a whole bunch of games. And it's really easy, like when we see one, when we're out that we like looks cool and we don't have, like we wanna buy it. But we have so many that we've either played once or twice or not at all. And like, we need to go through and play the games that we already have. Same with puzzles. This area is all puzzles. And you know how many puzzles in there we have that I have never done? It is totally unnecessary for me to buy a single puzzle in 2024. I don't know if your entertainment looks like that. I feel, I don't know, like that's like a retired lady kind of thing. Be like, I just read so many books and do so many puzzles, but that's the life I lead. And those are the ways that I like to find entertainment. So maybe look at your own entertainment needs and see what you can sort of do there. Definitely utilize your local library, even if it's for movies. My library is amazing. It's got seeds in it. It's got like programs going on all the time, things you can learn, seminars, things to take the kids. Usually libraries are a great resource for all sorts of things. So if you're looking to be entertained and cut down on your entertainment budget, hit up your local library. Next, number 8. This one is very personal because this is something that I spend way too much money on, and that is cleaning gadgets in general. I'm the kind of person, it's like when you get like a new pair of like workout pants and you think, oh, I'm gonna go to the gym all the time because I spent $100 on a new workout outfit. And like maybe that works like 1 or 2 times, but I do the same thing with cleaning products. You know that spin brush, you know, the one that you plug in and it's like got a handle and it spins really fast. It's got all those attachments. It's all over TikTok. You know I bought one instantly. Like my house is never any cleaner no matter what gadgets I buy. I have a Roomba. I have a Dyson. I have a Shark. I have all of these vacuums. Is my house any cleaner? No, it's all the same. I need to calm down with it. I feel like I know now enough to know that the cleaning marketing works on me really well. I got a steam cleaner. I've got the spin mop. I've got all the things. I got one of those, the Timeco ones where it's a vacuum and a mop at the same time. And like, yeah, I love it, but like I could just use a mop. Like I need to calm down with it. So the next big cleaning thing that happens on TikTok, I am scrolling right past. We are not buying any cleaning gadgets in 2024. And if you see me on this channel cleaning with something that looks new that you've never seen before, you better call me out on it. I'm really gonna try, but that one's gonna be hard. Next, number 9 is home decor that costs over $20. This is like the home improvement category. I knew that if I said I wasn't gonna buy any home decor in 2024, that I'm just setting myself up to fail. So instead I gave myself some parameters, some guidelines to follow. And I think that $20 for any home item is a good max. Now, this is to say that doesn't mean I'm gonna go to Target and get like 7 $20 items and say, oh, I didn't buy anything more than $20. That's not what I mean. And I know mentally what I mean by the $20 rule. And that's just to give me a little bit of wiggle room. Like usually if I'm thrifting and I'll find things for a few dollars, I wanna be able to then get that. I know I will want candles and knickknacks, and there's things that I collect and things that I'm always looking for. I get tons of joy and fulfillment out of my home and the way that it looks and the way that it makes me feel when I'm in it. I'm very sensitive to that kind of thing, and it definitely is a way that I express myself. And I know that my happiness levels would be terrible if I wasn't allowed to change things up in the house. But I do think that the $20 mark, totally good. Will I be going to Pottery Barn? No. Did I ever go to Pottery Barn? Also, no. I'm going to the thrift store, and that $20 limit pretty much means that my home decor is all from the thrift store this year. and I'm happy to do it. All right, my very last thing I'm not spending any money on is garden items. And let me tell you, having a food garden, which is my vibe all the way, you think, oh, it's gonna save me so much money if I'm growing all my own vegetables. Vegetables are so expensive. And there's definitely a way to do it cheap, but there's also a way not to do it cheap. And I have all metal garden beds. The amount I've spent on fertilizer, compost, soil, all sorts of different planters, and not just the things to grow the food, but then I've got garden lights, I've got bird feeders, I've got beehives. I have the most, okay? And while it does bring me joy, it gets out of control really, really fast. And then all of a sudden, my $10,000 backyard, which gave me 50 cents worth of potatoes, it seems kind of dumb. So for 2024, we're not buying anything for the garden. I already have all of my seeds. I bought them on Black Friday. I have the garden all planned out. I cannot wait to start growing this year, but I'm now making my own compost. I have my own compost pile. I don't need to buy that. The only thing, we are going to be adding asparagus this year, but I already bought and prepped the like the box for it last summer. So it's just been sitting there full of dirt waiting for the right time to plant, because you do want to plant like the bare roots in the early spring, and we didn't get around to it till the end of the season last year. So that is going to be about $30 to buy those. And the other thing I'm toying with is I would like to buy a peach tree, but for that it would be a Mother's Day gift from my family, and we would plant the tree together on Mother's Day. So I'm not really counting that as like spending money on the garden if it is my Mother's Day gift. We're still discussing how we want to go about that, because we want, you know, the right tree, and sometimes that can be a little more expensive. I want to like go with a reputable arborist or whatever they're called. You know what I mean. Anyway, so that is a goal. But as far as any extraneous spending, not doing it this year. We don't need any more garden statues. We don't need any more garden flags. We don't need to buy any soil. We don't need any of it. We're good. We're good with what we got. And there you go. Those are the 10 things, the 10 categories, the 10 rules, the things I'm not buying in 2024. I think that they're totally doable, but I also think that it will be a challenge. I did write them all down, and I'm gonna keep them posted so that I don't forget what my ultimate goals are this year with my money. So maybe you can relate to some of these. If you have anything that you have committed to not buying or spending money on in 2024, I would love to hear what your goals are, whether they are, of course, to save money out of necessity, or because you're interested in just like living more simply or using less resources, being more environmentally friendly, all of those things, because they all go hand in hand. So yeah, let me know what your plans are this year, and come on back for more, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye! And of course, here's your friendly reminder that my recipe journals are available now. I have 3 styles to choose from. Use these journals to organize all of your recipes. They are available on Amazon, and the link will be in the description down below.